Okay, so now we're going to create a Polygon shapefile. And so why we do this is, so for example, in your thesis, say you have the magnetic data over an area, you're branching out into geophysics, and you want to plot on that map where exactly the Pilanesberg is. Maybe it's got a very strong magnetic signal. And so you don't want to just guess where it is. You want to have a shapefile to lay on top of it to show exactly that the strong magnetic signal correlates with the Pilanesberg. And so if I, on my geological map, can define the outline here and know the exact coordinates of the outlines and create a polygon or a circle of it, I can take that shape and put it on top of my magnetic data and know with certainty that this is the Pilanesberg. I'm not just guessing that it's the Pilanesberg. And so it helps with creating maps. And so that's what we're going to use shapefiles for. And so how we're going to do that, in our catalog on the right hand side here, you can see this is, where's my file that I created? Folder connections. Here's this file that I was working with on the desktop, and I'm going to right click on it and I'm going to go to new folder. I want to create a folder inside here that's called shapefiles. It's really good practice to just organize your stuff well. And you can see inside of this folder is this TIFF file we've already loaded. So inside the shape folder, we'll click on it and right click and go new and go down to shapefile. And let's give our shapefile a name. And so we're not going to call it Pilanesberg. So what we are going to call it is 2526 lithology. And you'll understand now why we're calling it such a general name. It's because all the shapefiles we digitize on this map are going to be loaded in, all the polygons that we digitize on this map, all these different geological units are going to be loaded inside this one shapefile. You really could make a separate shapefile for each of these units, but it becomes so cumbersome lately if you want to load them into projects. If you do it this way, you can just load this one shapefile, this 2526 lithology, and all of these individual polygons will be saved underneath it. So trust me for now. So you're going to call it that. You're going to change this to polygon because we're not doing points, we're not doing lines, we are digitizing actual shapes. And then click down here for me on edit. You have to define the coordinates for this so that it fits in with your project that you are creating here. So remember, it was under geographic and under spheroid based, and we clicked on Clark 1880. If it was different from your project, I think Arc would be able to handle it. I just know some software struggle with it, so often it's easier just to have the same coordinate system. And I click OK, and you can see it's saved the coordinate system here. And so as soon as I click OK, you can see it's loaded the shapefile up here. And so now we're going to go and edit this shapefile. And you can also see it's listed on the right hand side, but it's also been added under our table of contents over here. Okay, so let's edit, let's actually outline one of these units first, and then we will edit the properties under this 2526 lithology. So don't worry if you don't understand what I'm saying. Let's work through it, and then you'll understand better. And so what we need to do to actually outline one of these units, you have to go up here to Customize, go to Toolbars, and go to Editor. And this is the toolbar that allows us to digitize our stuff. Okay, and so you're going to click here on 2526 lithology, right click, go Edit Features, Start Editing. You could, I think, also go up here and go Start Editing. So it's just, obviously, it's stopping and starting the editing to save you from bumping stuff as you might be doing other processes. You don't want to bump your diagram and edit stuff unnecessarily. That's why we start and stop the editing to save the edits. So go Start Editing. And now we need to tell the computer what we're going to edit. This is where this Create Feature window comes in on the side. Make sure you've clicked on this 2526 lithology. If you haven't, you'll see in this editor window you cannot choose a whole bunch of options. As soon as I click on it here, a whole bunch of these options become available. And so I've clicked on it on the side, and now I'm going to use this one here that's a straight segment. You can also use endpoint arc segment. I'd assume this curving would probably make things a little more accurate. We can play around with it later, but for now let's do the straight segment. And let's zoom in here onto our Pilanesberg. And there's a lot of detail, different geological rock units in the Pilanesberg. I just want an approximate outline. So all of this really depends how much detail and how accurate you need to be. For this project, for this tutorial, I just want us to get the hang of things. So I'm not going to go into too much detail mapping the exact outline. Okay, so you do it like that. If you are, okay, let me finish. Once you've double click on the last point, it creates this shapefile here with this blue outline. If you don't double click, you can also right click, and you would have clicked there on finish sketch. So you can either just click around and then go right click finish sketch, or double click on your last point. And let's just save what we've done, just in case your project jams. Click save. And so yeah, we have our Pilanesberg, but we need to label it as Pilanesberg. And how you go about doing that is you go back to this table of contents, to this 2526 lithology, right click, go open attribute table, and you can see there's this one polygon, and this is what we have created here. And it's got an FID and an ID, but we want to actually create a column here so we can type Pilanesberg so we know what it is. And how you do that is you click on this down arrow, go to add field somewhere. Oh, it's unselected. I think I have to say stop editing first. Let me just try. Hold on a sec. Okay, so while it's still in edit mode, I can't add a field. So you got to click up here and go stop editing. And you'll see as soon as you do that and go to this drop down menu, you can add a field. And so we are going to add a field that is called lithology. Technically lithology is the rock type. So let's actually call it rock unit. And you need to change the type, because short integer means I'm going to add a number. I don't want to add a number. I actually want to type the name. So I'm going to add text. Length, if you've got a really long text, you could make this longer, but 50 is fine. Let's click OK. And you can see now we've got this rock unit added. Unfortunately now, if you try type here, it's not going to work. So you've got to go back here, go start editing. And let's type here. Wait for it. No, did I click start editing? Okay, if I double click on it, sorry, you can see this cursor and I can say Pilanesberg. Okay, and if I click out of it, it saves it. And if I close the window and go back again, you will see it has saved it there. And so yeah, you can go about doing that. Let's digitize one more unit so that in the next video I can show you an additional feature in Arc. Okay, let's close this window and zoom out and decide what else we are going to digitize. If you want to move around in Arc, you can see this hand button here is the pan. If you click on it and then you click and drag, it allows you to move your window. Okay, so we've digitized the Pilanesberg. Let's now digitize one of these units in the Western Bushveld. And so how are we going to do that again? Remember, we went up here to our editor window and make sure it's still on start editing. Let's just save everything we've done so far. And now we're going to try and do one of these units. Click up here, make sure that it's create features 2526 lithologies is selected. If it isn't, you won't be able to use this editor window. And now let's keep using the straight one just because often it's quickest. I'm just going to pan to the east here. And we are going to digitize this dark green unit, which is, I would have to zoom in and see. Okay, it's the gabbro-norites. Magnetite gabbros would be upper group. So here I think, all of you will probably know better than me, is it the main zone? And so we are going to digitize this green unit here. Give yourself enough space. You can also zoom in and zoom out. Click on it in the create features window. Click on this straight segment option if it isn't selected already. And very broadly, let's digitize this green unit. If you zoom in, you can see there's green and then there's this stippled green on top. Let's just do the normal green unit. But obviously if you were doing a master's in this area, you would do a very detailed shapefile. Right now I am just doing a very broad shapefile. I'm going to zoom out, or you could scroll along. I just want you to get the feel for how to do it. Oh, and you can see something's gone wrong here because I have crossed over. Okay, or is it just how it's, okay, no, I don't think I've done anything wrong. I think it was just how it was coloring things in. Okay, and I'm going up here. You would obviously spend a lot more time zooming in and being precise. You can see when I get to the Pilansberg here, it's wanting to, like, I forget what the word is. It's clipping, or it's attaching to the other shapefile, and that's okay. That's a good thing. It makes it like an airtight shapefile. So you can see here, it's helping me select the vertex for the existing shapefile. Okay. I'm actually going to go up and double click over here, and then it should finish my shapefile. Okay, we could have done it in a better way up here, and I'll show you now how we can do it. Okay, so you've got two shapefiles. Let's go and label this. And so it was the Gabro Nora. So we're going to go up here, open table, and it should still be in edit mode. So I'm going to say Gabro Nora. Ideally, you would actually write upper zone, main zone here, but like I said, I'm not sure what it is. My knowledge of the bushvelt's a bit rusty, so you would try and label it according to its zones. And so now let's do one more unit so that I can show